And hello and welcome to the Books Crypto Club weekly catch up, which we're having on a Monday evening tonight. And first to join us is going to be Georgina. Georgina, good evening. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. And you?
I'm not so bad, thanks. Just still enjoying or enduring the lockdown at the moment.
It's yes, the inner introvert is going, yeah.
Well, I think the latest thing I saw is that people who are introverts, and particularly those who are obsessive compulsive cleaners, this is their time. They were made for this. So.
I haven't quite developed the obsessive compulsive cleaning bit though.
Well, I wondered many years ago if we could get people who've got OCD going to people who hate cleaning and strike a nice balance between them and actually work together and help each other.
I have volunteered my services on a number of occasions. When I live in chaos, and particularly when you see people kind of look at it and they think, oh my God, I can't possibly live like that, until I realize, why it is as chaotic as it is, because I'm always doing something much more interesting than doing housework. Then they get it.
Yeah.
It's not because I like chaos. I hate it. I actually like to have a place that's neat and tidy, but not at any cost.
I think it was summed up, but it's the broader thing as well. It's how you spend your time. And I'm trying to remember who the chef was now. Who runs the Fat Duck? The chef I remember on a TV program once where he turned around and said,
Yeah.
"Life's too young, life's too short to spend it shelling peas." Because they were shelling individual peas, and it's kind of the same thing with some housework type thing. That we do what we need to do. So you've been watching what's going on in the crypto world of late?
Yeah, I have. Although I'm a bit frustrated today because for some reason, Bittrex is, as soon as I start fiddling around with the charts, it has a conniption on me and goes and freezes everything.
Mm.
So I'm not quite sure what the issue is with that. It seems to be when it's actually, because I hadn't realized, because I haven't logged in for ages, I hadn't realized that they've linked up with TradingView and they're getting their charts from TradingView.
Okay,
And
I didn't know that.
it seems to be when it's trying to get data from the other site. But other than that, yes, I'm enjoying catching up with it because I just haven't had time to really keep it any sensible eye on what's going on in the crypto world in the last couple of years, because I've just been so busy doing other things. So there's another reason why I'm celebrating this recluse time.
It gives you the time to look at these things again. Because from what I've seen, just looking at some of the reports, I think it's today, I subscribe to various alerts and that kind of thing. I think they're all saying that we seem to have hit the bottom, and it all seems to be going up. Certainly, Bitcoin prices seem to be on their way up again, and all of the traders seem to be getting a bit optimistic and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I haven't checked the numbers today, but I got the impression the last couple of days we're certainly seeing a rise in some way, which is good. It's a matter of whether the bottom we saw a few days ago is the absolute bottom, and it's all going to go up from there.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a case of just wait and see. I mean, the thing that I'm particularly keen to do is to polish my skills, albeit very small skills, in doing trading, because as far as I'm concerned, any kind of movement in the markets is good news, and it gives us a chance to actually increase our holding and actually be able to do something that's quite fun and but profitable as well at the same time.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how many more people are now actively day trading and using eToro and whatever else, because I
Yeah.
think there's a lot of people sitting at home without much else to do, who are probably now all learning about trading, technical analysis, and they're learning about how to read candlestick patterns, and they're beginning to formulate trading strategies and that kind of thing. And
Yeah.
I wonder if we're going to see some people get burned because the majority of the people who trade, until you really know what you're doing, the majority of them lose money.
Yeah, but actually, it's part of losing the money is part of the learning curve. I think that certainly from my own experiences, it's like one of the mistakes that I made a couple of years ago was that I bought into everybody else's enthusiasm for salt, and consequently, I blindly followed and lost a ton. Lost a ton of money. When I look at how much salt is going for these days, it's like, oh my God, I really could weep.
Yep.
But it's, and I know that friends that who've been in the space for a long time, the losses are very much, they're part of the learning curve. And as long as, you know, we're able to benefit from that learning, and we don't actually put everything into our investments, then we should be, you know, we should be all right.
Yep. Hey James, I see you just joined us. Good evening.
Hi Gary, hello. So good to see you. Sorry, I've not been about for a long time. Unfortunately, I've been unwell for quite a while, but I'm all back on my feet and all sorted now. So lovely to see you, matey.
Excellent. We're just talking about the crypto markets at the moment, which
Okay.
I've just got a chart up on the screen at the moment of Bitcoin
Yeah.
the last week. And I was saying to Georgina that the various trading alerts I'm on at the moment, they're all saying we've hit the bottom and it's all going uphill now.
Mm-hmm.
Which, you know, as always, I say that, you know, this is not financial advice or investment advice. Yeah. And I'm a little bit concerned, in fact, as saying to Georgina, with so many people being stuck at home with not much else to do, they're probably all reading up on technical analysis and charts and candlesticks and trending and that, and they're probably all beginning to dabble with how you trade crypto. And I fear that a lot of them will get burned, because I think we're going to see a little rise for a while, and some of these whales are going to take advantage of that. But we shall see anyway. So.
No, I mean, you're totally right, Gary, because I mean, we've talked about this before, haven't we? Of the whole kind of TA, and, you know, people get so into their graphs and all this sort of stuff, and actually, you know, the big boys come along and you know, take advantage extremely quick. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I've got to be honest, the more that I've kind of both invested and enjoyed the space, and I still do, the more I can't guess. I can't guess what it's going to do. I can't, you know, I've not been able to see correlations with other markets. For me, it's just kind of, and that's what makes it so interesting actually at times, because it doesn't behave. I mean, you know, some people one of my friends said, oh, what does it behave like gold? And I'm like, well, no, not really. You know, so.
Well, I gave a talk a couple of months ago, which was talking, it was to financial advisors. It was at the Personal Financial Society annual conference. And I was talking about how crypto is correlated, or rather isn't correlated, to any other asset class. So it doesn't behave in the same way that gold, silver, or the precious metals do. It doesn't behave like foreign currencies or shares or anything, which is kind of good, because it means it's an uncorrelated asset, which, if you're into portfolio theory, it is good. You want something that behaves totally differently, and crypto certainly does that. But yeah, it certainly looks like it's on an upward trend at the moment. I was just looking again, just looking at Binance at the moment. So I'll share the screen on this. You can see there's certainly an upward trend today. It's kind of a matter of, is it going to carry on that way or not? So I'm not so sure. So, okay. Are either of you actively trading then, or are you just watching and learning at the moment?
No, I'm trading.
No.
Yeah, I can't attest to my innate skills and abilities to create any miracles or anything. I mean, what you were saying, James, I can totally understand. And I found that actually my intuition was the thing that proved the most valuable. It's just following a gut instinct that something was worth looking at. And being an artist, I actually really like the Fibonacci patterns, because there seems to be, there's something natural and organic about it.
Mm.
So there'll be things like that I have explored, and it's kind of stood the test of time in that there are still those points, the Fibonacci points, they still hold true. And yeah, I mean, it's early days, because it's been a couple of years since I've done any trading, so it's early days yet to see how different it is. I mean, what I have noticed is that there is when you're watching the trades that are happening, oh my God, they are so much faster than they were 2-3 years ago. And,
Absolutely.
that it also makes it very exciting. But I'm very aware of the fact that it might be a bit like being in an auction room, where you kind of get, you start bidding for things and you start getting carried away with the thrill of the moment, and you overbuy on something.
Do you know what really worries me sometimes is that actually when I make a profit, and I don't know why I make a profit, and that scares me a bit, actually, because all right, nobody likes losses, but I manage my grandfather's share portfolio, and that's quite extensive, and for me it's relatively simple. I've got a nice diverse portfolio, eggs and baskets, pretty simple, bit of blue stock, bit of blue chip, bit of tech, and win some, lose some, probably make more than it does in the building society. But what I find sometimes in crypto is that I'll see something, I'll see some volume going on, and I'll go, oh yeah, and I'll have a little read about it, and then I'll put some I'll move over some BTC to, I don't know, Dash or whatever it may be, something, and then suddenly I make a load of money, and I'm a bit like, ugh. And my missus is kind of like, oh, but great, oh, fantastic. I'm like, no, you don't get it. I make a load of money, but I don't know why. And that scares me, because if I can make a load of money and not know why, I can easily lose a load of money and don't know why. And that's why actually a lot for me has just been going, okay, what are the big boys within crypto? I'm going to just, I'm going to hodl that and see what happens. And like BTC for me has gone up and it's gone down, it's gone up, it's gone down. And actually overall, it's been, a really nice little nest egg, really. But you're right, the excitement factor scares me sometimes, actually.
The one of the things that I did do a few years ago was I actually joined a whole load of Telegram groups. And if invariably, there are an awful lot of pump and dump groups, and of course they're not supposed to pump and dump, but of course they still happen. And what I do is, if I see any massive movement going on in the market, I'll do a quick search in those Telegram groups to see whether there's some manipulation going on. I mean, that is like the mass market arena where you're going to get the people who are being sold the get rich quick schemes, etc. So it's not reliable in terms of the advice they give, but what is really, really interesting is watching the patterns to see how the different groups actually behave. So there are the initial pump and dump groups that actually say that this one's going to be a good hit, and buy in at this point, sell at this point. And then because there's movement, you'll see the secondary, the tertiary, and the fourth groups, fifth groups, etc. They will then say, oh, there's movement in this, therefore, it's a mover, and therefore something's going on, therefore it's good to invest in. So being aware of it's another layer of patterns that I think that investors have to be aware of, because, as you say, otherwise there's no rhyme and reason.
And I think Georgina,
yeah, go on.
Sorry, quickly. I don't know if you know how some of the pump and dumps work as well, that actually some of the groups that you may be in, quite often there will be 3 levels of membership.
Yes, they will.
And this is what I found really interesting, that you might have like a free membership one, but there may be 4, there may be a free membership, a bronze, a silver, and a gold. And what you find is that the gold ones are the ones which are really expensive to join, but they're the ones who are really making the money. And they're told first, what the price is going to go for, what the sell point is, what the buy points are, what the triggers and that. And the silver group is told a subset of that, and the bronze group subset. And then basically they prime the free group to go out and do it, which then executes all the movement, which means the bronzes make a bit of money, the silvers make a bit, and the golds make a lot.
It's almost a bit pyramid scheme, pyramid selling. I feel very uncomfortable with that. I've got to be honest.
It's exactly that.
It's an awful marketplace to be in, because, as Gary says, is that it invariably, if you see the alerts coming in on those pump and dump groups, you've already lost. Just do not engage with them at all. But the only reason that I joined the groups was to actually just see what groups were doing with the coins, and actually looking to see which coins were likely to be pumped, and recognizing the signals to know that, you know, even if you can't find the signal because you're part of that network, you can see the signs. It's like, and the first time it happened to me, I got really, really, really excited, because I bought into gut instinct. I bought into a coin, and it went up by 1,500% in one day. And I'm like, oh my God, this is absolutely bloody amazing. Until I realized I'd invested something like 2p. And so 1,500% increase on 2 pence wasn't exactly very impressive. But it alerted me to the fact that, you know, these pump and dump groups were out there, and what they were doing. And then, as I say, by understanding their patterns, and it's as I say, it's absolutely not looking at their signals, it's looking at the patterns of the groups themselves, then you get an understanding of what the marketplace is doing. And I get a feeling that there's going to be more of that kind of thing that's going to be emerging as Bitcoin starts to move. It's going to, because this is what happened before, because I started trading when Bitcoin was, I think it was about $400. And then, of course, it started, you know, like, oh my God, is it really going to reach $1,000? Can't imagine it reaching $1,000. And then suddenly all this whole community just emerged out of nowhere.
Your other one to watch out for as well is, in addition to the pump and dump schemes, you've also got quite a few independent traders who use trading bots, and they train the trading bots to act on certain signals.
Yeah.
And what you then get is you get a systemic activity. So if a bot, which several people are using, and they're all using the same trading signal, fires off an execution order in some way, and we've seen this in the stock market as well, what starts happening is that a group of bots effectively all behave in the same way, which then it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy as to what happens to the price and the demand and supply, which then causes other bots to use that as a signal to then go and do some other behavior or whatever. And this is why sometimes the pump and dumps get a bit caught out, because they start executing a certain behavior, and they try and do the behavior in a slow and subtle way, so that the bots don't notice the activity that they're doing. Because what then happens is that the bots do a counterbalancing thing. So what I hope is, in a few years' time, when this market is much larger and there are much more people in it and it's much more liquid, we'll get less of this kind of volatility. And it'll become a little bit fairer as well, because at the moment I think there's just a small number of people who are very active who are making loads, and then there's a bunch of pump and dumpers who are probably making some money out of pumping and dumping and some money out of telling other people to do pump and dumping, and they're counteracting it with their bots or whatever. So yeah, interesting times.
You think, Gary, I mean, does this sort of, I mean, the whole regulation thing, you know, I mean, this kind of activity, you know, in any other market would just be, you know, I mean, we know it happens, but it would be seriously frowned upon, if not very legal. It's kind of, yeah, it is scary, and it is kind of Wild Westy, it sometimes feels, you know.
But the only difference is that we know we are operating in an unregulated market.
Yeah.
We know these things are going on. Whereas if you're trading in shares or you're trading in whatever else, which is also, as you say, subject to manipulation, it's just you make the assumption that because it's a regulated market, there isn't any fraud or any malicious activity going on, which we all realise, or some of us realise, just isn't true.
So I guess it's the known knowns and the known unknowns. Yeah.
Yeah, to quote Donald Rumsfeld from a few years ago.
Donny Blackwater, yeah, he made a bit of money, didn't he?
That's the other thing. You take a look when things are happening. It's not actually always investing in the companies or the cryptos themselves. It's investing in the stuff behind it. So as you say, Blackwater, from a share trading point of view, was really good because when you had the various Middle Eastern wars going on, it's always Blackwater and the construction companies like Halliburton and that, who generally do quite well out of this. That's the interesting thing with the current COVID-19 outbreak around the world, trying to work out which companies are actually going to do well in this space.
Well, interesting.
So Zoom seems to be doing nicely.
Zoom, definitely, but interesting because I'm now back out on the road as a paramedic now, and interestingly, I looked at 3M because all the FFP masks are 3M. Interestingly, not been going much at all, and apparently the reason being is that their production is absolutely at full production. They can't produce anymore. And a lot of what's being used is actually stuff that's stockpiled anyway. So it's actually stuff that's already been paid for. So it's not, so originally I thought, oh, this could be, I mean, if anyone can find the company that does the vaccine, now that would be, but yeah.
But certainly, and again, this is an interesting thing, trying to work it on a crypto basis. And this is where I found it really fascinating because up until now, all of these crypto experts have been saying, oh, crypto is a safe haven, it's the new gold, it's a new place where you'll have capital flight when people get worried about traditional currencies. You take a look at what's been happening the last few weeks, last few months, where people have been getting cash out of bank machines. There was a bit of a run in a few places recently where people wanted cash because at least you can carry on trading. Then in China, the Chinese government, certainly in Wuhan and Hubei, I think, started confiscating cash and taking it into care, saying it was a way of spreading the virus. So suddenly all the crypto people are going, oh, this is fantastic. This is, crypto's moment has come, at which point the crypto prices collapsed, which is exactly the opposite of what everyone was accepting up to that point. So there's no way of predicting these things. I think, as Georgina was saying, it's like some things go up and you just don't know why, and other things go down. But certainly, this has been a great example of how it is that crypto prices are not directly affected by what's going on in the real world. Because if you think about it, crypto, this is its day. There's a risk of banks going under everything.
Actually, I was going to ask you that, Gary, because I very much sort of thought, and I haven't invested anymore, and just keep everything hodling. But I kind of was thinking, this is now the world economy's potentially going to be a massive crash. This is and then I'm looking at the price of Bitcoin, and it's like that's dumping. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And that's when it's bad, when Bitcoin's going down, oil's going down, and everything else is.
Yeah, but it's all about us trying to make sense of for which there is no sense. I mean, the last time we had a major weird world event like 9/11 or anything like that, we found that oil prices went up because you've got uncertainty, so everyone starts buying up oil, you get concerns and that. So I thought we were about to hit one of these situations where we're going to have rationing in shops, we're going to have limited access to things. So typically the last time that happened, I remember when we nearly introduced rationing of petrol and diesel, was about 10 years ago or something.
Yeah,
so
fuel crisis.
Yeah. So I thought, we're going to have another fuel crisis. Fuel's bound to go up in price. Let's fill the car up now type thing. And what happened? Oil prices are at the lowest for I don't know how long. So
I think that it is a case of I mean, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to investing, I think that you have to be really, really, really sure of your investing style, and it's, if you're going to have your long-term investments, you've got to go for the companies, just like you would if you're investing in shares. You've got to go for the companies that mean something to you, that you feel that are the companies of the future. And this was something I found very interesting with the ICOs, that it's like there was no consistency in the way that they were being presented. It's like, where's the team? Who's behind this? where's the credibility? Where's the experience to show that this is a coin that's going to actually, actually serve its purpose? And if you've got nobody on the team, even if they do show who they are, if you've got nobody on the team who's got, experience in that industry, why is that ICO going to be a good one to invest in? And I think that the market is getting a little bit more savvy. But I think that there's still massive gaps, although it is catching up. I mean, the regulation is catching up, because I know that it's like when OneCoin came out a couple of years ago, there was a whole group of us going like, oh my God, stay away from it. It is a complete and utter bloody scam. And, we were witnessing people who were hearing about crypto and wanting to dabble, and they were investing in these scam coins, and we were like, no, don't do it. Don't you understand, that this is. And I was given the cold shoulder by a few people, because I was saying, no, this is absolutely bang out of order. And of course, look what happens. Then regulation started catching up with them, and the whole thing collapsed. And just like your main, your evil money chain letters, there has to be a point where the chain gets broken and the whole thing falls apart.
I think I was going to say OneCoin's a really interesting example as well, because I don't know if you listen to the BBC podcast series which Jamie Bartlett produced, but I went to a talk that he gave, and it's really interesting. He said the reason that they did so well with OneCoin was because they didn't promote it to crypto people. So if you spoke to people in the crypto community, they hadn't heard of OneCoin. What they did was they promoted it to the MLM community, who were used to this kind of thing of upselling and taking a commission and a pyramid type thing. And it was all totally sold to them as, better than Bitcoin. And they didn't know any better. Whereas the people in crypto took one look and went, yeah.
Sort of stuff. Yeah.
They're going to turn the OneCoin series, the Crypto Queen, into I think a TV documentary as well soon. So keep an eye out on that.
No, that'll be interesting. Have you seen as well that 2 American banks have closed this year? There's another one that's just gone.
Which ones?
I'm not sure. It was actually in the Bitcoin news. There was one in West Virginia and one in Nebraska. One was they're only small banks. I mean, banks are 2 a penny in America anyway. But I was interested in the fact that the Bitcoin news picked up on it. And yeah, let's see. I mean, they're doing a bit of sort of like the red top headline thing in by saying that 2 American banks have failed since the coronavirus started spreading in the US. But actually, when you read the article, it's not because of coronavirus. It just so happens that they have closed since the coronavirus, except that there weren't any banks that closed last year, but there are 2 banks that are closed this year. And I have to say that when I look at the moves to shift the balance in the American finance markets, I have to say I'm very cautious about the fiat currency, particularly the US dollar, actually surviving. And I think that is going to have an impact, especially when there was another article that was shared just before we started, saying that Robert Kiyosaki was said to say that that US dollar is dying, buy Bitcoin. And if you've got somebody like that is, the epitome of, shifting your mindset as far as money is concerned, if he's saying that also is going to, well, whether it has an impact or not, I don't know, but it's certainly an indication of where the more mass market is going towards.
It's interesting as well when you look at currencies and fiat currency in particular. The average life of a fiat currency is 37 years, and the US dollar is a little bit longer than that. And the British pound sterling is something like 300 years. It's a remarkably enduring thing. But most currencies that are government run, in some way, they end up failing, collapsing, or disappearing. So it's almost inevitable that at some point the dollar and the pound are going to go away and be replaced by something. And I think you're right. Once you start getting more people who've got a reputation for not being crypto people, advocating crypto, then
Yeah.
that's the beginning of the new adoption phase.
And we've said this for such a long time, haven't we, Gary? You know, is that we are the choir, and it's been around for a long time now, and we talk about it. We talk about it to lots of people, but I'm looking forward to the day where it's not even called crypto. It's not. There's no, blockchain. What's blockchain? Don't care. Just beep, because that, seeing even my kids aged 10. The way, they said to me, oh, they wanted some money for some pocket money, whatever. And literally they were like, and I gave them like 50p or whatever. They looked at me like, wire it to me. It was just like this look of kind of, coin? What am I going to do with that, you idiot? Once it's to the point where it's so, I don't care how it works. I don't care. I just want to press play on my Spotify, or I want to, that is the time when everything changes. And
I think you're right. And if you've got a 10-year-old, it's probably Roblox or Minecraft points or Star Stable points or wherever they are. Yeah, and that's the other thing, that children are already used to using virtual currencies. Whether it's points in a game or coins in a game or tokens, so that they're comfortable with that already. So this idea of having this old-fashioned cash type stuff is definitely dying away. So look, folks, it's getting towards the time at which Zoom's going to send me a message to say that we're out of time, because I'm still using the free version, so it only goes on for about 30 minutes. So if you've got any quick closing thoughts or comments, this is the time to say it. I'll take it.
It's really good to see you, Gary, and lovely to see you, Georgie, as well. Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, likewise. Have a good one, and this will go back to its normal Sunday evening, although I may start running a midweek one if there's sufficient demand. So good to see you both, and as they say, wash your hands.
Absolutely. Take care.
Take care.